Today I'm reviewing Diablo, a movie that went straight to demand. Now normally I wouldn't review movies that went straight to demand unless they were Nicolas Cage films, but Scott Eastwood, the son of Clint Eastwood, is starring in this movie and it is his first Western, so everyone has had eyes on him because, well, his father pretty much made the Western genre what it is. So I'm assuming that he was given a lot of scripts and he turned them down, and finally he accepted a script, which is this movie, Diablo, not the video game. So this movie takes place 7 years after the Civil War. We have a young Civil War veteran named Jackson, played by none other than Scott Eastwood, who wakes up and finds that his wife is gone. She's been kidnapped by ruthless bandits. He sets off on a journey to find her. So pretty generic Western film. There's been a lot of similar movies like this. It's nothing new. And on his journey, he runs into various characters played by Danny Glover and Walton Goggins and some other shady characters that may or may not get in his way of finding his wife. That's pretty much the overall story. One of the things I will say that I liked about this movie was that it was not a very, it did not, it was not a very stereotypical, cliche Western. There were no saloons, there were no brothels. It was a old-fashioned Western. Didn't try to be over the top. And that's what I liked about it. Walton Goggins' character, I liked him as well. He did great in The Django Unchained. He was recently in The Hateful Eight, plays the mayor, and I thought he did a really great job here as well. I thought he was probably the best part of the movie. Scott Eastwood, on the other hand, he needs a bit of work. He's not, he's not like his father. He might have the looks, kind of, but he needs some work. Especially the first hour of the movie. Yeah. When you got lines like, "My wife was taken by Mexicans, and I need to get her back," you know you got a problem. I mean, who's writing this? Who in the world thought, okay, this is what this character is going to say? That was terrible. That was the worst line in the movie. I could not take that seriously. Not to mention that he's objectifying his wife. I think that was like the first giveaway that they gave that there's something wrong with this character. And while the movie does get a little bit better the longer it progresses, I will say the first hour was very slow. And I don't have a problem with westerns being slow. There are plenty of westerns that are slow that are still very enjoyable. There were plenty of westerns that were slow last year that came out, and I enjoyed them. Slow West, The Water Diviner, I believe that was considered a western as well. I thought those were very good movies. And this movie, the first hour, is just way too slow, and it doesn't do anything to the story. I mean, I was generally uninterested for that 1 hour, and then once we got up to like 40 minutes remaining, that's when it started getting interesting. But that's when they threw that twist at us. Yes, there was a twist in this movie, and I thought that twist was thrown a little bit too early. That twist was really what got that movie going a little bit. Kind of, not really, because once we find out the twist in the movie, you're like, oh, okay. And you kind of like, you just kind of forget about it and you just move on. There's nothing really intense and suspenseful about this movie. And the movie relies on that twist. Once that twist happens, you're supposed to be like glued to the screen, like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. And it did not do that. I was a little bit shocked that, because I wasn't expecting this twist. But after that, it was just back to its original thing, and Scott Eastwood, once he was playing that character in the third act, I thought he did a pretty decent job there, unlike the first half of the film, where his acting was, like I said, dry and wooden. By that point, it was a little too late to save the movie, and I will say that this movie did remind me of a movie that came out a couple years ago called Enemy, And if you know what movie I'm talking about, I probably have said too much already, given too much away. But that's what I felt this movie felt like. Enemy only in the West. Like I said, it's his first movie in a first Western. He's got a lot to learn to live up to Clint Eastwood's career. But no one's saying that he has to live up to it. It's just people have high expectations, and why shouldn't they? Um, but this movie just wasn't terrible, but it was not a movie that I enjoyed that much. It was okay. There were times where I thought, oh, well, this is pretty good. But once you get those scenes, it goes right back to being a very dry, basic, bland story that you don't really have that much interest for. Um, there's nothing to it. They took a basic story and they didn't really add anything to it. They added that twist, but that twist didn't do anything because the timing was wrong and it kind of skewed the movie in the wrong direction. And that might have been the problem, along with the somewhat weak dialogue that we had and Scott Eastwood acting, which wasn't all that great throughout the movie. Walton Goggins, like I said, was great, but didn't have that much screen time.
So that's about it, and I'm gonna give Diablo a D+.
This isn't the worst movie I've seen. It's certainly not the worst Western I've seen, but I don't want to say that there's a reason why it went on demand, but it kind of is. But there have been worse movies to come out to go on demand. So, if you like westerns, go check it out if you appreciate them. They do have an old-fashioned feel to it. They don't try to be too much like too over the top like some of these other westerns we've seen in recent years. So January is finally upon us, and well, we're getting these types of movies. So I don't know. We're not, we're off to a good start. It's January. January is usually the time when we get really terrible movies. But looking at last year, we had terrible movies in February, March, April. We had 3 months worth of shit movies. So, and there's movies that are coming out this year, and I've been hearing that The Forest wasn't all that good, that's out in theaters, and there's a couple of other movies that are coming out soon that I really don't care to see. So, we just gotta hang in there and then wait for December, because that's when Star Wars comes out, and that's when all these other Oscar-nominated films decide to be released. No, but we gotta wait till summer. We'll start to get some better movies. Right now, it's typical beginning of the year movies. So, like I said, you just gotta hang in there, and hope we get some good movies soon. So, that's about it, guys. You can like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for more unboxings, reviews, and movie news. See you guys.